Hereby call the first meeting of the second session, the Iowa State University Student Government Senate, to order. All right, and so we'll begin with the roll call. When I read your name, please respond here or present. Agba. Gopa. Chenoweth. Everhart. Kamstra. Guerrero. Kuehler. James. Reichert. Mahoney. Lambertson. Byers. Cecil. Dre. Eisma. Wellman. Momini. Sinattle. Larson. Huntington. All right, and with that, we do have quorum for this evening. All right, and so we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Acting Speaker Agba. And so with that, we'll move into tonight's Senate program. We'll be hearing an update to the student body with President Holliday. And at this time, as per the Senate Rules of Order, I would ask that senators close or mostly close their laptops as a sign of respect.
Of this term. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Jennifer Holliday, and I am currently in my third year here at Iowa State, majoring in agriculture studies, journalism and mass communications, and international agriculture. I hope everyone here has had a great first few days back here on campus. I know that I have loved getting to see the freshmen experience a list of firsts, see old friends get to reconnect with each other after they were separated over the summer, and personally, I've definitely enjoyed getting to eat copious amounts of Panda Express again. But as much as I would love to stand up here and tell you all tonight about the amazing fried rice I had for lunch, we have something much more important to discuss. This summer, a vacancy arose in the position of president of the student body. This was something that was unexpected and, if I can be honest, pretty nerve-wracking. In accordance with the procedures outlined in the Student Government Constitution, the person in the role of Vice President is to step up to the position of President if that role becomes vacant. Therefore, since the 14th of August, I have officially been sworn in and serving as our President of the student body. I'm not here tonight to sugarcoat things. This transition was hard and it was stressful. When I understood that I would be stepping into this role, I was scared. Although it may not look like it from the outside, the roles of Vice President and President are very different, and I learned that very quickly. However, never once along this journey did I ever consider backing down from this challenge. Students of Iowa State, I am standing up here tonight representing you. Everything that I do in this position is to better serve you, create better resources on campus for you, and to create a better environment here at Iowa State for you. Throughout this summer, I spent countless hours in meetings, working, thinking, talking, anything in between, all to prepare myself for what lies ahead. As president, I will strive to provide what is needed for knowledge when a crisis occurs. I will direct anyone to the proper resources when the need arises, and I will fight for what needs to be done. All I ask of you throughout this journey is that you trust me, and you never hesitate to reach out to me if you have questions, concerns, or even ideas that students of student government should be doing along the way. Alongside this transition this summer, I gave a speech at the Board of Regents meeting about student tuition and fees and how it needs to be kept at affordable rates. I had the pleasure to attend an Ames City Council meeting, and I also nominated a candidate to serve in the role of Vice President. Tonight, Senators, you will see a bill for the nomination of Quinn Margaret, who is currently serving as our Speaker of the Senate, or tonight acting Vice President, and he will become, hopefully, the next Vice President. I have full confidence in Speaker Margaret, and I know that he will be an excellent Vice President. Since accepting my nomination, he has been dedicated to learning to administer the laws of this organization. He has been working to prepare a smooth transition between his leadership roles and has also been preparing to partake in so many initiatives throughout this year. Tonight is a night that I've been looking forward to for a while now because I am incredibly excited to work with Quinn throughout the remainder of this term. When the bill arises tonight, I will speak more on Quinn, but in the meantime, I do want to touch on the goals that I have for the remainder of this year. I recognize that this past spring, I ran on a platform in the campaign season of 12 points. These range from beginning an Ames Safe Word program to creating a syllabus bank, from beginning a community-based counseling and improving it, or including sexual assault prevention in first-year courses. While none of these are promises, these are all goals. Speaker Margaret and I have been discussing working toward these goals to still achieve them or variations of them throughout our partnership, as they are all still items that I believe in and he does as well. Other items that I'm aiming to work on throughout this organization include our retention and recruitment program, as well as any ideas that other members of student government or students across our campus may have. As Paul McCartney once said, it's getting better, a little better all the time. I know I can't accomplish all of our goals alone, but all of us here tonight, all of us here who are passionate about change and improvement, we can accomplish amazing things together. And I am excited to see what step by step we can accomplish to create the campus to be a little bit better at a time. I want to thank you all for your attention tonight, and I'm prepared for questions that anyone may have.
And with that, the floor is open for any questions for President Holliday. Seeing none, thank you, President Holliday.
Thank you.
And so with that, we will move into tonight's open forum. Open forum shall serve as an opportunity for students to speak about issues relevant to the student body. If there's anyone here for open forum tonight, I would ask that you approach the podium at this time. Seeing none, we'll move into adopting the agenda. So I believe Senator Mahoney.
Mr. President, I move to, can you scroll down slightly more? I move to move 2023-2-001SC, confirming the President's nomination for Student Body Vice President to the bottom of special orders.
And so it has been moved to adopt the agenda so that 2023-2-001SC is at the bottom of special orders. I'll give a piece of context. That is due to the fact that we do not yet have enough members to vote on that item. And so is there a second on that motion? Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, the amendment shall be made. So we're back on the agenda as a whole. Is there a motion to adopt tonight's agenda? It's been moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to adopting the agenda as seen? Seeing none, it shall be adopted. And so seeing as though we did not have a clerk at the previous Senate meeting, we do not yet have minutes to approve, but just as a formality, is there a motion to postpone the approval of the previous minutes? Excuse me. Moved? It's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to postponing those minutes? Seeing none, they shall be postponed. And so with that, we'll move into committee reports, beginning with our Rules Committee with Acting Speaker Agba.
Rules has not met this week, as well. We decided that as we didn't have anything to talk about, it was better if we moved it to next week.
Are there any questions at this time for Acting Speaker Agba? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Finance Committee with Finance Director Hirsch.
Hello, everyone. Finance Committee has not met this year, so I don't really have anything to report as of right now. We are planning on meeting next week. And I do have some at-larges and a senator I'm planning on seating tonight. Very confident about their nominations and their approval. But
Are there any questions for our Finance Committee? Seeing none, we'll move on to PR. And although, sorry? Yeah, sorry. We would be further from the threshold to pass our final item of the evening. Oh, we have quorum. It requires 2/3 of seated senators to confirm a vice president, and so that's why that item specifically has been moved downwards. So, yeah. And so I believe there were no questions for Finance Committee. Seeing none, we'll move on to PR. And so in the absence of our Senior Director of Communications, I'm going to defer to our Outreach Director to share some updates.
Hello, everyone. My name is Eric Brown. I'm the current Director of Outreach. So over the summer, the PR committee has met a couple times just to go over like those early events in the summer. Some updates from Maddie. So DIS, Center of Excitement, went great. We got 38 interested people. Thank you, Quinn, for being there to basically run the whole thing. So if you guys go in the office, there is a painting that was created by all 38 of those people, so go check it out. Clubfest is next week, next Wednesday from 9:30 to 4:30. Currently in the MIS, there is probably about 20 time slots still available. If you guys have the time available on Wednesday next week to do that, please go ahead, volunteer. We need a lot of people in the morning, so from 9:30 to 11, there is no one currently stationed for that. So if you guys are available, please help out. It will count towards your guys' outreach credits. In the future, we are looking to be regular participants at the After Dark as part of the karaoke space. So that will take place Friday nights. Again, this is going to count towards your outreach credits. Look for more information in the future. And then as of right now, we need some more members of the PR committee. So if anyone is interested, please reach out to Maddie to discuss about it. Thank you.
All right, are there any questions at this time for either the PR committee or for relating to those outreach activities? Sorry? Yes. Okay, and Senator Kamstra.
Has there been any discussion for recruitment tools moving forward to recruit more senators?
As of right now, I think the discussion is to slowly talk to more and more senators, and as the committee reports or like committees build up with the current senators, looking for the individual committees to start doing some more outreach tasks. But as of right now, since we don't have committees, it's kind of hard to specialize it, like where we're individually going towards people. But I think going for a more broader approach, getting freshmen from like the DIS stuff and then Clubfest will be a great starting point to getting more people.
I yield.
Are there any further questions at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to the DEI committee. Seeing as we have not yet sat a chair to that committee, would anyone like to give any sort of updates related to the DEI committee? Seeing none, the same. Sorry, I missed our acting speaker, Agba. Go ahead.
As you've heard, DEI is not set up yet, so if you know anyone who is interested in being in DEI work, please let us know. I yield.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the DEI committee? Seeing none, the same applies to the Student Initiatives Committee. If anyone would like to say anything related to that committee or its subject matter, now would be the time. Seeing none, I would like to go ahead and recuse myself for the duration of the Local Affairs Committee update.
Quinn Margaret will now go to the stand.
Hi, everyone. I'm standing over here now. So, just as a brief update for those of you who weren't aware, yesterday we learned that former ex officio Eden won't be able to return to her position for this term. And so we're looking for other alternatives to continue that ex officio position at this time. However, we learned this with not a lot of notice, and so President Holliday was unable to attend the meeting. And as speaker, I'm the closest thing we have to a local affairs member, having not sat that committee. And so I attended the Ames City Council meeting last night. I just wanted to give you 1 or 2 bullet points about things that might be relevant to student life. And so there was some discussion about tailgate parking at the Ames City Council. There was a citizen who attended and had some complaints about the signage in her neighborhood. There was a lot of talk about the downtown Ames historical development, specifically looking at grants available for maintaining historical structures. And so that's something that we put a great emphasis on last night. There's been talk about Cedar Lane improvement. That's a street that is, the maintenance of is a responsibility of both Ames and Iowa State University, and so it looks like that will be a split project. It looks like the city has acquired land and is investing in a new park on Ontario Street. There aren't a whole lot of details about what that looks like at this time. However, there will be community workshops to refine that idea. And so that's the updates I have right now that might be relevant to student life. I'd be open to any questions.
Thank you for the update.
Are there,
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Gian James?
So then for the duration that we don't have an ex officio, will it just fall on then whoever the speaker is to attend these meetings? Or would the Senate be able to help support that? Because I know I have to attend some for my position.
For clarity, the position of ex officio when it's vacant should fall to the president because it's an executive cabinet position. However, President Holliday wasn't able to attend it just because she had prior commitments, and this was a very last minute thing we found out. And so it happened that I was available and I was the closest thing to a local affairs member. And so we don't really have a clear line once you get past the president and the vice president, who, busy and, isn't seated respectively. So hopefully we can put someone in before we have to make any weird sorts of decisions about that in the future.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you for your update.
And with that, we'll move on to the, on to the Sustainability Committee. Is there anyone here tonight who would like to give any sustainability updates? Seeing none, we'll move on to the Health and Wellness Committee. The same thing applies if anyone would like to share any updates related to health and wellness. Oh, sorry, were you, did I miss you for the previous one? Or Senator Kuehler?
All right, hello everyone. I served as Vice Chair of Health and Wellness last year, and I do plan on returning to the committee, so I met with Director Spahn yesterday because she was unable to make it, so we talked about her update, so I'll just go ahead and give that. So basically this committee is great. We focus on improving health and wellness issues on campus. And a good example of this is last year we did a campaign called Party Smart. Basically, we partnered with the ISUPD and Rec Services and camped out on the Campanile lawn, and we advocated for partying smart. Basically saying that if you're gonna drink and do other irresponsible things, do it safely. And we also had a bunch of lawn games with the ISU participating to make them feel more approachable to students. And we gave out free stuff, including liquid IV. So if you're interested in stuff like that, feel free to join this committee. Send Director Spahn an email. You can find that in the directory. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Senator Kuehler or the Health and Wellness Committee at this time? Seeing none, we'll move on to legislative ambassadors with our Director of Governmental Affairs, Becker.
Hi, everyone. My name's Madeline Becker. A few quick updates. First and foremost, we are rebranding legislative ambassadors as Cyclone Lobbying. I think it gives a better depiction of what you're actually going to be doing, and it reads better on a resume. So that is update number 1. Update number 2 is the form to apply to this committee is ready, and it's going to get set out next week. We're really trying to push it to people who are not already affiliated. So if you know someone, Dance Marathon, Food Bank, something like Red Cross, something that needs representation and they're not already involved with student government, please send them my name. You can text me or whatever, and I'll reach out individually. Thank you so much.
And I'm sorry, could you repeat the name, the new name of the committee?
Cyclone
Mhm.
lobbying. Oh, no. Sophia says no. Okay, never mind. That's on the back burner. Because apparently, oh, trademarked. Okay, well, we'll work on that. It'll be
Okay.
fixed, but we are working on that.
Are there any
Okay.
questions for this committee at this time? Senator Wellman.
Okay, yeah, I do have some questions because
Yeah.
if you do use the word lobby, like I could not do that because like I couldn't be on that committee because I can't like be a lobbyist and also work in the Capitol.
Okay, well, we'll work on it, but what we were
So-
mimicking is like the other Big 12 schools are like, they're like TCU lobbying, Horned Frog lobbying. So we were just going after that. But if that's no good, we'll come up with something better.
No, I know. I was just that way like students can still participate in both
Okay.
and whatnot. So
Yeah,
that's all
we'll
I'm
work
worried
on
about.
that.
But
Name
thank you.
change, TBD.
All right, I yield.
Senator Gopa, did you have a question? Okay. And so with that, we'll move on to comments from the Judicial Branch with our Supreme Court Justice, Chief Justice Taylor.
Hello. All right, so the court will try to meet as soon as possible. We need people on the court. It includes me. And right now the court is working on archives. And eventually everyone should have access to viewing the archives, and there's a bunch of interesting cases and other documents that are really interesting, I would say. But I think it will help with transitioning forward for more people. If you want to tell other people about the court, there is relatively low effort because we're kind of an emergency response. And please tell other people. I think that's all I have.
Are there any questions at this time for our Judicial Branch? Seeing none, I have a quick question. Senator Wellman, are you leaving, unfortunately, at this time? I am. Okay, sorry to see it. Okay, so we will now move on to comments from our advisor.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back to the fall 2023 semester. We're excited to have everyone back. Just a few housekeeping FYIs. I sent an email out about the door, the Student Government Office door. If you have been a part of the organization previously, you know that I talk about it quite a bit because it is a lengthy process to get onto the door. So if you review that email and have any questions, please let me know. Feel free to send me an email or talk to me after the meeting. There was a slight typo. It said see step 5, and step 5 doesn't exist, and I'm so sorry for not catching that. So you'll see step 4 if you have already filled out the MIS on Teams. Other than that, I will be sending more communications, but I'm going to be asking all senators to meet with me once in the month of September, just to kind of chat about like what your goals are for the year and if there's anything I can help with or answer any questions as far as being your advisor. If anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. I am more than happy to talk to all of you. So,
Are there any questions for our advisor or about that key card process? Seeing none, we'll finally move on to comments from the Executive Branch with President Holliday.
Hey y'all, me again. Really no other updates. Gave it all in my program at the beginning of the Senate meeting, but please, once again, reach out to me if you have any questions, comments, concerns. I would love to chat with each and every one of you, and let's make this a great year.
Are there any questions for our Executive Branch? Oh, sorry, Senator Dre, I missed you.
Hi, yeah, I just had a question about your cabinet and chief of staff and other positions since the former president has left. So is any of that going to be changing with her departure?
Any position that was formally filled will remain filled as it was before. But any position that has not yet been filled, we are still accepting applications for those. So if anybody's interested, please let us know. We will be having a mass email go out here hopefully soon, but if it doesn't go out soon, just let me know and we will get it sent to you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
It has been moved to remove Senator Wellman from the role. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, he shall be removed.
Mr. President, I move to add Senator Larson to the role.
Sorry?
I move to add Senator Larson to the roll.
Is there any objection to adding Senator Larson to the roll? Seeing none, she shall be sat. All right, and so we'll move on to the business of this evening. Seeing no external matters, we'll move into internal matters. Seeing no general orders, we'll start with special orders, beginning with item 2023-2-002SG, seating a senator to Finance Committee with Senator Eisma.
Hi, everybody. Is the representatives or the people, the senator who wants to approach, go to the front? And that is, yes, I assumed you were aware. We need people in the finance because, in my opinion, it is kind of one of the most important ones. Without the money, we don't really have anything. And if Senator Janes would want to carry on.
Yeah, so hi, my name's Gian. I am currently the senator for the College of Business, and I'm part of the Satellite Board of Trustees, and that's my, for finance, I met with the finance director, Hirsch, and then we talked about the position, and I showed my interest, and talked about our shared goals of making sure that we, keep things up to date, make sure clubs turn things on time so that finances are good, and then keep an eye on maintaining the rules. Additionally, from my personal experience, I have been a treasurer for most of the clubs that I have been in, so at least from an outsider perspective of it, I am familiar with how the finances of student government, of student organizations work. So that will help me carry on from looking at the inside and the other side, and also keep aware of what were the struggles I had as a freshman when I was a treasurer.
The floor is open for any questions or any discussion on this matter. Seeing none, I'll entertain a call to question. Has been moved. Seconded. Is there any objection to ending discussion on this matter? Seeing none, closing comments, Senator Eisma. Seeing none, we'll move into a placard vote. UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, this passes.
Thank you.
And so we will now move on to item 2023-2-003SG, seating an at-large to Finance Committee with Senator Eisma.
If the three gentlemen could approach the podium, and as well, I yield my time to Finance Director Hirsch.
Again, I'm very excited about these nominees. Ada McClellan, he was on the Finance Committee last year. He was a very important member, always made sure to attend meetings, and I think he will continue to do a great job on Finance Committee. As far as the two freshmen, Joey and Matthias, I had a great meeting with both of them. They seem interested in student government. They have previous experience with finance, and I know that they're going to do a great job on the committee this year if Senate were to approve them. I yield.
And so are there any questions for our nominees at this time? Yes, sorry. So I believe we yielded the time on that, but you're more than welcome to give them some time and have them give a speech. Okay, so yes, if you all would like to say something, please go ahead.
I'm a freshman here at Iowa State. I want to first off say thank you to everyone who I've ever met already. It was very welcoming. I feel very comfortable. You guys all seem like very nice people. Without further ado, I would like to talk about a little bit about myself. For starters, I love finance. My father has owned companies in the past, and he's always tried to involve me as much as he can. I've always been very curious about what he's been doing, and I love working with numbers, seeing stuff work out. I think that would put me a really good fit for the finance committee. I would also say that I really want to be part of communities here. I think this is a great way to put my foot in the door, especially as a freshman, kind of get it started early on. As for my work ethic, you cannot really test me on that. I was varsity hockey, so I've worked really hard in my high school career, and I was appointed captain of that team. So I do have some leadership capabilities, at least something to show for it. And I'd just like to thank you guys all for your time. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
How's it going, guys? My name's Matthias Bosch, and I'm also a freshman here. I'm a finance major, and my whole life I've kind of been good with numbers and had I've owned my own portfolio and kind of been successful in that fact. And I kind of want to. I've came here in Iowa State, and I want to keep doing everything, and you know. All right. So my whole life, I've been playing hockey, gone to school, studied, and been in finance, I guess, yeah. Sorry. All right. I'm really interested. Okay, give me a second. Sorry, guys. All right. So I'm coming here because I want to join a community and I want to meet new people like you guys. All of you I've talked to, you're great people so far I've met. And I just want to join the finance member. I've been good with numbers. End of the day, finding new people and making new connections is how you grow and become stronger, and that's what I want to do and learn from you guys. Any questions? Yes.
And so the floor is still open for discussion. Senator Kamstra. We would probably have that ability. Yeah. Yeah. Yes?
All right, I have a question for you guys. So the two freshmen, you guys didn't mention whether you were involved in the same fraternity, but are you both also STugov?
Yeah.
All right, and for the benefit of the body, I'd just like it to be known if they all got put onto the finance committee, that means members of Sigma Phi Epsilon would have a majority. So that would be a very big interest group that has a big say in our finances. Actually, if you have something to say, I would yield time to you because I want to know what.
I think it's kind of grossly unfair to say because they happen to be part of the same fraternity, they're unable to be they're not going to be biased towards a specific club and organization on campus. And I want to add this too. SIGEB, any fraternity and sorority does not come through finance committee. They are not allowed to, so it has nothing to do with them being part of the same fraternity. They've expressed interest, and as you know, I mean, quite obviously, people aren't interested in student government. And so now we have 3 people who want to be a part of student government that have experience in finance. Why wouldn't they be part? It doesn't make any sense.
I'd like to thank Director Hirsch for letting me know that Greek bills in general don't go through our finance committee because I did not know that before. So thank you. I yield my time.
And so is there any further debate on this? Senator Kamstra, were you making an official motion or were you proposing?
No,
yes, I see you. Okay, thank you. That is an ability. You could divide the question should you choose. Senator Gopa.
I mean, members of the Greek life can also be in clubs too, so we should also discuss that possibility.
Senator Kamstra.
So I do agree with the concern of, I won't say the concern of Sigma Phi Epsilon having control over the finance committee, because we were having a discussion before we decided to bring it up. And I am happy that people are wanting to be involved. I'm very happy you three are here giving a speech, interested in this organization. I don't think that them being a part of a club is going to correlate to their fraternity life. I'm a part of very many clubs on Iowa State's campus, and they're very much so separate. So that was the point I was going to make about that. Yeah, I just wish that Finance Committee was larger, but I mean, that's not something we have the option to do right now with the need of people joining. So I give my support. I know I was questioning it at first, but I give my support of these three gentlemen. I think they'll do a great job, and I think that getting some freshmen in here is going to be great leadership experience for them, but also having two great mentors would also be very beneficial. And would you like some time? Yeah. I yield to Finance Director.
Yeah, I'm sorry for getting a little upset about it, but I'm just really confident in these three. And passionate. I get real passionate. I'm really confident in them. And I just want to add too, these aren't people in SIGAB aren't the only people that I've reached out to. I mean, I'm literally sending LinkedIn messages trying to get people to be part of Finance Committee and be involved in student government. It's something that I care about and I'm very passionate about. And so I did get a little upset because I really like these guys and I think they'll do a great job and they'll be a great part of the community. Yeah, that's all I wanted to add. I'm doing my part to get more members involved with Finance Committee and student government in general. Yeah.
Senator James.
So first, I want to make a motion to add Senator Everhart to the roll.
It has been moved to add Senator Everhart to the roll. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none? And yes.
And I think to quell any worries, I'm just going to ask you three just directly. Do you guys think you have been prepared, and if you can bring like a very brief example, to put aside like your personal biases to be objective in these tough discussions that will be had?
Of course, yeah. 100%. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you. I yield the rest of my time.
Is there any further discussion at this time? Seeing none without objection, we'll end debate on this. Closing comment, Senator Eisma. Seeing none, we'll move into a placard vote on this item at this time, unless there is a call for unanimous consent. Unanimous consent has been called for. Is there a second on that? It's been seconded. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, this passes. All right. And so for the second time this evening, I would like to go ahead and yield the chair to Acting Speaker Agba, as the following item does pertain to me.
Yes? Yeah.
Yes, I'll answer that. Yes, according to our Constitution, it is 1/2 of seated senators, so we have more than a majority now.
And so if you'd like to introduce the bill.
Yep. So this bill is for the vice president of the student body, nominating speaker and acting chair, Quinn Margaret.
And just as a point of order, I believe Senator Mahoney would get opening speaking privileges on that bill.
Oh, sorry.
My apologies.
I'll just yield my time to President Holiday.
Hey all, me again. So I just have a few more words to say. It won't be as long as the first time, but I did prepare some more remarks, so you get to listen to me talk again. I just want to say that I spent multiple weeks making this decision to nominate Quinn tonight. This nomination is one that will not only directly impact myself, but all members of the Senate, student government, students on campus, faculty, and administration even here at Iowa State. So as you can tell, it was by far not one that I took lightly. I recognize that throughout this process, this individual needed to be dedicated, have experience in the organization, understand the importance of the role that they would be playing, and so much more, such as having passion and love for Iowa State and the Ames community. Through Quinn's leadership that he has displayed here in student government over the past year, as well as in many other organizations throughout his life, I know that he is fit for this role of leadership. Quinn has served as many committees, was elected not only as a 2-term senator, but our Speaker of the Senate, and so much more. When developing a stance on a topic, he takes time to put research and thought into it. He's open to hearing other people's opinions and most definitely wants the best for what is needed across campus. Tonight, I'm urging you all to please vote yes for my nomination of Quinn Margret for the position of Vice President. He is experienced, has made some amazing contributions to this organization, and is incredibly prepared to step into this role. And I have my full trust in him. Thank you.
Can I believe? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good evening, everyone. For those of you who are new to our organization or are joining us for the first time, my name is Quinn Margret. Ever since I've joined student government, my personal goal has always been to put myself in whatever position allows me to have the most positive impact both on our organization and on our shared campus. And so over my time in student government, I've worn many hats. I've been a residence hall senator, I've been a college of business senator, I've been acting chair of the local affairs committee, and for the past 4 months, I've had the privilege of serving as your Speaker of the Senate. But it doesn't feel right under the circumstances of having lost a president to stand here and campaign in the same way that I did for the role of Speaker back in April, because this isn't some personal opportunity and it's not a promotion as some people have suggested to me. But nonetheless, now that I have been asked to serve in a new and unique way in our student government, I do think you all should understand the perspective through which I see student government, both where we are and where we can be. So let me start off by saying I fully believe revitalizing a spirit of volunteerism for our student government is the most important thing that we can do with our terms. Through every iteration of our student government, through every name change, every new constitution, a lot has logistically changed for us in the past 120 years. But our mission has always been the same. It's always been our goal to channel the voices of students. The only thing that's different than it was in 1904 is how we go about making sure all of those voices are heard. Back in 1904, our student government was an assembly of 11 unelected seniors who would handpick their successors from the next senior class. And so since then, we've held nominating conventions, we've given seats to captains of Iowa State's major sports teams, we've even worked class presidents into our structure. But today, we instead rely on the willingness of students who voluntarily choose to represent themselves and their peers. None of you were asked to be here doing this tonight. We've created a government that's open to all students and channels all voices because it's open to everyone. But that sort of progress takes maintenance. In the short term, I've already shared with you my vision for more effective outreach and onboarding to address the membership struggles that have already been referenced tonight. But as we're defining what's next for our organization over the coming years, we need to instill in the student body a greater understanding of our work. And so our barrier isn't a lack of passionate and talented students on this campus, it's a message from us that's not being heard. Especially after a summer of hardships, we need to cultivate the image of an organization that students would want to volunteer for. We each need to project to our peers that we're still here working for them and doing important work regardless of our setbacks. And we need to inspire confidence that a change in our ranks does not mean a change in the mission that we've held for a century. That confidence comes not only from a cohesive, multi-branch effort, but from a culture shift. It's about changing the way we think about student government so we're not always focusing on rules and logistics, but we're instead inspiring students with examples of the great work that we do and will continue to do. We have the absolute ability to change how we interact with the student body and more positively shape our perception for years to come. But we can't even begin to tackle these challenges until we have unified leadership in place. Serving in this new role will allow me to work more closely with President Holliday and the Cabinet as I work to make sure not only is our message heard, but that we're sending the right one in the first place. Ultimately, I've accepted President Holliday's nomination to serve as the student body's next vice president because I believe my Senate experience will help us smoothly transition our legislative branch, and my drive to foster a larger conversation about volunteerism will help us solidify a brighter future for our organization. And so with that, I would love to take any questions.
I don't remember what to say, sorry. But
just the floor is open for any discussion on this.
Floor is open for any discussion. Senator Kempster?
Do you have any specific outreach tools that you and, if elected vice president and the president, would like to immediately enact to get more people into judicial, into the cabinet and also into the legislative branch?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so there's multiple things I have to talk about on that answer. One thing is having a cohesive brand, and that's something we can work through our cabinet. Right now, we don't have cohesive materials to reach students and deliver the message that we want, because this is a very broad issue, right? But at the same time, it's a very interpersonal thing. Like, I'll give you an example. I was at DIS last week, right, talking to students about student government. And what really connected with students wasn't when I shared rules or logistics. It was when I explained what we do, and really we're a group of people that wants to make the student experience better. And so it's about making sure that we not only have materials that reflect that, but that we're instilling that culture so that when we're going to these events and having these outreach opportunities, we're all making the best of every interaction we have with students, because really that interpersonal conversation is the only way to get meaningful involvement in this organization. So it's kind of a very micro thing to look at, but I think there are steps we can take to kind of reinforce that culture and reflect it through our materials. I hope that answers your question.
Senator Kuehler?
Yeah, my question is, well, this is a bit of a long one. So I'm sure you're aware the roles of Speaker and Vice President are very different. And I agree with President Holliday. Knowing you, I think you are very suited to this role. But I guess I want to hear in your words, like, what is the role of Vice President? How is it different from Speaker? And I guess, what have you done to adjust to this very different role?
So the first and probably least insightful answer to that question is that it's very different to run Senate than it is to understand how it's run. And so there has been a lot of preparation on my part about actually getting in the habit of administering our rules in that way. So there's some logistics like that that are certainly different. But on a bigger scale, Vice President is a more externally facing member of our organization. And so I'm not going to say that any member is more important than the others, but I'm going to say that having a dialogue with students and being in a present role allows you to have that sort of culture shift, right? So I can bring in my attitude when it comes to volunteerism and hopefully enact some changes in the cabinet as well as the way we interact with students. So it is it's a fundamentally different role as far as being a lot more externally facing with students. And so leaving a good impression is incredibly important. That's sort of one of my main points there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. I yield.
Called question has been called. Sorry. But, sorry, I don't remember what to say next. I'm very sorry.
Sorry? I didn't.
I'm sorry, I don't remember what to say next.
So unless there's any objection, we'll move into closing comments on this bill and then a vote.
Unless if there's any objection to this bill.
No closing comments.
Sorry?
And so you'll move into a vote.
We'll move into a placard vote. Sorry? All those in favor? All those opposed? With a voting...
I'm sorry, you may wish to offer abstentions.
Oh, yeah. Any extensions? With a vote 14 to 0 to 0, Quinn has been nominated, or Quinn has been accepted as the Vice President of the student body.
Thank you.
Hey, Quinn.
I'm sorry. I'm used to officer roles where the oath was already done. Yes.
All right. Raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Yes.
Okay. I solemnly swear or affirm
I solemnly swear or affirm
to execute the duties of my position
to execute the duties of my position
as prescribed in the Constitution
as prescribed in the Constitution
and the laws of the government
and the laws of the government
to the benefit of all students.
to the benefit of all students.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And so with that, now Speaker Agba has assumed the role of Speaker, and so a vacancy in the role of Vice Speaker automatically triggers item 2023-2-004 SC, electing a new Vice Speaker of the Senate. So if we can get that. We are adding that to the agenda now. Yes. It's because it's out of necessity, it's not something we need to amend onto the agenda. It simply happens. If you would bear with us a moment as we add that item to the agenda. And so that item has now been linked on the agenda. While I finish that entry, I would defer to Speaker Agba's opening speaking privilege.
Did you? You know, you linked
What? Did I really?
as we get this set up here, I would like. Is it good?
Yes, it is now on the agenda. So if you do have any opening comments.
Yeah, I don't have any opening comments.
And so with that, is there a motion to open the floor for nominations at this time? It's been moved. Is there a second on that? Is there any objection to opening the floor for nominations at this time? Seeing none, the floor shall be open for nominations, starting with Senator Eisma.
I nominate Senator James.
Senator James, do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
Gopa.
I nominate Senator Campstra.
Senator Campstra, do you accept?
I'll accept.
I wish to nominate Senator Mohamedy and Don, but I was going to nominate Cecil.
Senator Mohamedy, do you accept?
I accept.
Senator Eisma, do you have another nomination? And so with that, is there a motion to close the floor for nominations? It's been moved. Is there any opposition to doing so? Seeing none, the floor shall be closed for nominations. And so at this time, we'll move into the questioning phase of the election process. So I would ask that our three. My microphone ran out of batteries. So yes, you each will have a 5-minute opening speaking privilege in the order in which you were nominated, after which senators will each have 2 speaking privileges to address questions to all 3 of our nominees. So starting with Senator Jane.
All right, so I can just start? Okay. Hi, my name is Gian, and I'm a senior in Management Information Systems and the current senator for the College of Business. I'm here before you to explain why I believe I'm the best candidate for the position of Vice Speaker of the Senate. After talking to the current Speaker and Vice Speaker, I learned that the roles focuses on education and membership. I believe that my experience as a manager at various operations and leader within Iowa State campus have taught me how to become a good mentor to new people coming in and bridge the gap between experienced members and new members. I understand that I myself am a new member in Senate, but I'm also a senior at the school and know how to use resources such as advisors and other members to be able to be a good resource for other senators. Additionally, through my many positions at Kappa Alpha Theta, I've learned on how to become approachable to new members and help people without judgment. My goals as Vice Speaker, in addition to my duties, would be to help with recruitment of student government and visit clubs of the colleges that are not currently represented, such as the Design College, so that I can start making those connections within colleges. Thank you for taking your time to listen to me, and I hope you consider me for Vice Speaker of the Student Senate.
And I do apologize. I would just like to mention, when you have 30 seconds left in your speaking privilege, Senator Campstra, I will let you know.
Good evening, members of the student government. Short introduction to myself. My name is Brandon Campstra. I'm the current College of Human Sciences Senator. I'm my 4th year here at Iowa State, majoring in kinesiology and health. The reason I decided to run for vice speaker tonight is a desire to see this organization continue. My main goal as vice speaker would be assisting the cabinet, speaker, and vice president and president in recruitment, but also organization of this organization, if that makes sense. We're in a big transition period here. So strong leadership is going to be key, and strong organizational skills is going to be key. I personally think that I have very strong organizational skills here in my 4th year. I've been in a lot of different organizations. I've been in a lot of leadership positions and a lot of recruitment positions for various different organizations, whether it be fraternity life or club life or even my own college, recruiting people to change their majors because I'm so in love with kinesiology. So that's going to be my main heart and soul of being vice speaker, is getting this organization organized and running well underneath those and on top of me being Senator Agba and the president and vice president. I also want to work with you all in the best way to understand your responsibilities, to meet those at the highest expectations that I can hold for you, but also understanding you guys are all students here first and student government comes second. So making sure that you guys are succeeding in the classroom, but also in this legislative floor. So that's all I have. Thank you for your consideration, and I yield.
Hi, y'all. My name is Alexandra Momini. I am a 3rd year here at Iowa State, majoring in global resource systems with 3 minors that I don't care to try and stumble out of my mouth because this is an opportunity that was just presented to me at like 6 o'clock. So, well, I did know that it was a position that could possibly be open. I wasn't sure if it was something that I had the experience for, to be completely honest. But if there's one thing that I know about myself, which I like to think I know myself pretty well, is that I am extremely open-minded and determined. I like to try new things. There isn't something that I won't try. I like to talk to people. I'd like to say that I've talked to most of you. While it might seem that I am reserved, or that I don't talk first, I have been taught that it is extremely important to listen. It's more important to listen than it is to speak in most cases. So while if you start to talk to me, I probably won't stop talking to you. I like to talk quite a bit, but I do find it very important to listen. So if I were to gain this opportunity, that would be my main goal, would be to listen to you all, what you think your concerns are, your projects are, and not only would I listen, but then I would use my voice to speak and advocate for you all. I have had other opportunities such as this, not quite as extreme, but I do consider myself quite experienced in leading people. I'm really not sure what else to say, but I would be grateful for the opportunity. And while it may be new to me, it is something that I would put my full effort into. So thank you all for your consideration.
And so with that, we'll be hearing any questions for our nominees. I'll remind you that you have 2 speaking privileges to ask 1 question each to our nominees, and they each will have, I believe, 2 minutes to respond, 1 minute to respond to your question. Do you want? Yes, I corrected myself. 1 minute. Senator Gopeth?
One of your responsibilities is to work closely with the Senate. That means all of us senators in the room. One thing we all do is office hours. I would say office hours could be used in a more effective way. What will you guys do to change office hours?
So one thing I would suggest is something that I know Vice President Margaret and I talked about is making the office hours more noticeable to your colleges. So by keeping them consistent and having them posted, that's something that I think, because our positions isn't represent our colleges. If our colleges don't know how to approach us and when to approach us, that's something that I want to have changed to make it where we can hopefully make it more steady and have it more front-facing towards our constituencies that we're representing.
So office hours is the main part where you guys get stuff done. It's where we're writing bills, it's where we're discussing with our colleagues. We debate in the legislative floor, but we're not debating as a normal conversation would be occurring because we have Robert's rules. So my main change for office hours would be understanding your own goals as a senator. We all join this organization to better the student body, whether that's creating change on campus or facilitating discussion among your college or bringing awareness to an issue. That's what I want your office hours to set around because I think it's going to look different for everybody. So that's all.
Off the top of my head, I know we have multiple boards and whiteboards in the office hour room, so I think it would be or help our production if we were to add our projects on there and possible like have our project and then resources that you might know, even if you're not on that committee, if you have a resource that you think might be helpful to somebody's project, you could write that up on the board. So that would help us as a Senate as a whole, and also just a little posting of what everybody's up to before Senate meetings could be helpful as well.
Senator Mahoney?
So not only as Vice Speaker are you serving as, sort of the second hand running Senate, you also are part of the chief officer group that runs student government as a whole. So a lot of what you're doing is sort of more informal leadership and just kind of making sure you know everybody, know what's going on, sort of have a hand in almost everything. There's a reason Vice Speaker sits on every single committee, technically speaking. So I just wanted to ask if you could touch on sort of your leadership style, how you communicate with people, and just how you'll kind of get to know almost everyone in the organization and sort of be that internal touch point for communication amongst all the different branches and moving parts.
Yeah, absolutely. I would consider myself a service-based leader where I try to be as involved as possible to the point that I do struggle at delegation. But I am someone who definitely is interested and has, like when I was just starting as senator, already tried to touch point with a lot of the directors that were getting sworn in to figure out what their positions are about and what they want. So I'd be continuing that idea on learning and check-ins and focus my check-ins on obviously my fellow senators to make sure that you guys are feeling comfortable and you guys, if you have any struggles or worries, that I can help in whatever way that would possibly pop up, and that's kind of the leadership I would have.
My communication style and leadership style overall is very hands-on. I'm a big conversational person. If you see me walking across campus, I'm very willing to stop and talk to you as long as I'm not heading somewhere. But I'm big conversational based, but I'm also organized in my manner of if we need something done, I will send you an email. I'll shoot you a text. If we don't know where you are for Senate, I'll probably shoot you a text, be like, what's going on? So keeping accountability in that aspect, but also, like Senator Mahoney said, serving as technically on each committee, making my rounds, meeting with every single senator, hopefully once we fill this room, is kind of quite the feat. So I'm hoping that we can get everybody sat on committees and I can have conversations at those committees before, during, and after the committee meetings about goals of personal senators, but also the committees as a whole.
Could you repeat your question for me quickly?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if you could describe sort of your leadership style and how you would serve as sort of that informal leader, being kind of having your hand in every part of student government.
Thank you. So like I said in my little opening spiel, I like to listen. I consider myself very good at listening. It's important to listen first, ask questions, and then speak before you go on talking about something that you might not know so much about. So that's what I would do. I do like to get to know people. I can be a little shy at first, but I would make sure to reach out to everybody. I think it's important that people come and that they enjoy being here, so that would be another one of my goals, is that if there was something that was stopping anybody from enjoying being here, that we get that issue addressed. As far as the committee meetings, I think they're all super interesting. Again, I like to try new things, so I think that'd be an exciting opportunity for me to be able to go and join in all of those things. Thank you.
Everhart?
Okay, this is just a very simple yes or no question, but did any of you guys have the opportunity to meet with now Vice President Margaret and Speaker Agba prior to being nominated for this position, just to, you know, go over kind of some of the rules, regulations, what all your responsibilities are?
Yes, I was able to meet with both individuals.
Last time I ran, I met with Mahoney, but this time I did not meet with either of the current.
This was a surprise, so no.
Okay, cool. I yield.
I would entertain a motion to enter into the debate phase. Is there any objection to doing so? All right, and so at this time, I would respectfully ask that our nominees wait outside as Senate deliberates. Senators, you will each have 2 speaking privileges, and we will have 15 minutes as a body to come closer to a decision on this question. And so, if someone would be able to close the door, that would be fantastic. Thank you. And so, Senator Mahoney?
So I'll preface what I'm about to say with, I think all 3 candidates up there are fantastic, and I do not think we can make a wrong decision. But I want to personally vouch for my support for Senator Kamstra. I've seen him be an incredible leader inside and outside of this organization. In the entire time I've known him, everybody I've ever even mentioned his name to just immediately goes, oh my God, I love that guy, he's great. I really think he'll bring a really strong leadership presence to this organization and to the chief officers that I think will help continue to ground us as we navigate the difficult situation we find ourselves in. So I will personally be voting for Senator Kamstra. But like I said, I don't think we can make a wrong decision.
Everhart?
I'm just going to kind of echo what Senator Mahoney said. I think it shows a lot that he came back to run again for Vice Speaker, and he seems very well-versed in student government and as a person as a whole. So I know I will be voting for Kamstra, and I encourage y'all to do the same.
Speaker Agba.
I would also like to voice my support for all 3. I think all of them are extremely great candidates. I have had the choice to meet with, to at least get to know all of them, at least a little bit. Kamstra is extremely phenomenal with his ability to just reach out to people. James is extremely passionate, extremely, just goes straight for what she wants. Momini is extremely passionate, and just from knowing her personally, she's just an extremely, she just knows what to do at the right time. But as I feel that they will be my my vice, I don't think it would be right for me to vote for one, so I will be abstaining.
So is there any further discussion on this while we have our final opportunity to discuss without the nominees present? Seeing none. Okay, there's been a motion to enter into the clarification. It has been seconded. Is there any objection to moving into the clarification phase? Seeing none, I would ask if someone is able to retrieve our nominees from outside. And so at this time, all senators will receive 2 speaking privileges to ask questions, but this time you can direct questions at specific nominees. And so the floor is open for any questions for any combination of our nominees tonight. Are there any questions at this time? Okay, well, with that, I would entertain a motion to enter into closing comments for the nominees. for a second on that. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to moving into closing comments? All right, seeing none, the nominees will receive two 2-minute closings in the order, again, which they were nominated. Starting with Senator Janes.
Well, again, thank you guys all for giving me a chance to talk to you guys. Honestly, I think whoever gets picked, it will be good. And, you know, the Senate is in great hands no matter what. And I hope that you guys understand that no matter how this happens, I am going to be trying my hardest to be virtually at every committee just because I'm a very interested and active person. I want to know all the makings before I graduate here at Iowa State and make sure I can leave my mark. And I hope you guys all have a great rest of your night.
I also want to thank you all for the opportunity to ask questions and let me run for this position. We have a phrase here at Iowa State, successive cyclones, and I think that we can be a major part of that, and I would like to be there to guide you all along in your goals and aspirations for this legislative branch, but also in student government as a whole. And yeah, see you all the rest of this year, I guess. I don't know. I'm excited.
Hi again. Thank you for your guys' consideration and your questions. I would really just like to cement the fact that if I got this role, you would be in safe hands. I'm very determined, I'm open-minded, and I would bring a diverse perspective to not only the Senate body, but always the student body. I'm sure you guys know me as somebody who, if I have a question, even if it's a hard one, I'll ask it. So with that being said, I would be honored to serve as the vice speaker, but if not, I'm very confident in my other two running opponents. So thank you so much.
Thank you to all of our nominees. And seeing as the author does not get a closing comment on this particular bill, we'll move into a roll call vote. When I call your name, please indicate which of the candidates you would like to support or if you would like to abstain. Speaker Agba. Gopa. Okay. Everhart. Kamstra. You get a vote, believe it or not. I forgot I did. Kuehler. James. Reichert. Mahoney. I'm sorry, is Byers on the roll? Leave no. Therefore, is Dre on the roll? Dre? Yes, yes. Thank you. Eisman. Momini? Sinattle? Larson? I'm sorry? Thank you. All right. I'm sorry, Senator Gopa, I moved you down. Oh, I'm so sorry, Senator Cecil. I apologize. Kamstra. Just yell at me, please. All right, and so with a final vote of 2 to 7 to 0 to 5, Senator Kamstra's name shall be entered into the final bill. And so while Senator Kamstra's name is being added to the final bill, we are back on discussion On the motion as a whole, is there any discussion on the bill before we, there's been a call to question in a second. Is there any objection to voting now? See, UC has been called for. Is there a second? Second. UC has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to passing this final bill by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations, Vice Speaker Kamstra. And so at this time, I would entertain a motion from Senator Mahoney, if you would like to introduce a bill.
Mr. President, I move to add 2023-02-005SC, I believe it is, bill, or the confirming an executive nominee to the Special Student Fees and Tuition Committee to the bottom of special orders.
And while we're getting that added to the agenda, can you please remind me who the author is on that bill?
Me.
Okay. Is there any objection to amending the agenda as Senator Mahoney has indicated? Seeing none, it shall be amended. And so we'll move into, I do apologize, it's not reflected on the agenda yet, but we'll move into opening comments with Senator Mahoney.
Basically because Senator Holliday was, or President Holliday, was the executive nominee to the Special Student Fee Committee. There now needs to be a new one. Vice President Margaret, do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah, so basically it has been tradition for the president to nominate their vice president, and not only following along with that tradition, I also have extreme trust in Quinn. We discussed this position. He ran for it in the past for the senator representative on the committee. Unfortunately, he didn't have the opportunity to receive it, but now hopefully tonight he does get the opportunity to serve on the committee moving forward. But he has a lot of knowledge when it comes to this. He has a lot of opinions. He's really open to hearing everybody's opinions. So I'll let him go up to the podium and have a moment to speak if he wishes.
And so once again, I would recuse the chair to Speaker Agba as this matter concerns me.
If Quinn would like to speak on, or do I?
Yes, and so I did have a few words prepared. I would defer to the opinion of Senate on whether you would rather hear me speak or rather directly ask me questions. I'm completely open to either one. So, okay, I heard speech. Okay, well, hi everyone again. You just saw me confirmed as Vice President. And as is tradition, President Holliday has nominated me to join her on the Special Student Fees and Tuition Committee so that we can be a united force for fiscal responsibility on behalf of student government. And so as a former Senate representative of this committee, as well as an asset volunteer, I understand the delicate balance between providing all of these important services for students while at the same time trying to keep tuition as low as it realistically can be during a time of rising costs for many students. The choices we make in this committee can help students more effectively afford their education here at Iowa State. And so when I was here in April, I discussed how the Special Student Fees Committee is legally something of a black box. If we want to keep our seats on that committee, we unfortunately can't publicize our meetings or share preliminary figures. Unfortunately, we can't disclose some of the confidential proposals that this committee sees. And so the responsibility then becomes channeling the student voices that can't be in the room. And so while the committee itself might be something of a black box, Jennifer and I's executive branch, oh my God, executive branch is not. You know our commitment to bettering the student experience, and we fundamentally cannot do that until a student experience is affordable for all students. And so President Holliday has asked me to join her on this committee so that we can show our organization is a united front for affordability. Because having both the president and vice president sit on this committee is essential if we want to elevate affordability to a shared commitment of student government as a whole, as opposed to those of us as individuals. I'm very much looking forward to working with President Holliday, Finance Director Hirsch, and Senator Eisman when it comes to providing thoughtful and measured approaches to the proposals that committee sees. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
If there are no questions, called question has been called, but any closing comments? No closing comments? UC has been called. Any objections?
I'm sorry?
Any objections? No. Seeing none, bill passes.
Thank you. And so seeing no further items on our agenda for the evening, we'll move into closing comments. Is there anyone who would like to offer a closing comment this evening? I saw our advisor.
I did want to say that I am truly excited to see all of you. I'm excited to work with all of you this year, and I am excited what we are able to do. Another note is currently Welcome Fest is happening down in the ballrooms, and it goes until 8:30 p.m. It's local businesses and some departments throughout campus just like telling you about the resources that Ames has. So if you want to check it out, there's a bunch of really cool stuff happening down there. So that goes on for like what time is it? No. Oh my gosh, a whole hour still. So yeah, have a good evening. If you see any emails from me, please read them. I'd appreciate it. Have a good week.
I believe I saw President Holliday.
Hi, everybody. Last comment for the night. Thank you all for showing up, having a great Senate meeting, for getting through any of the little tricks along the way that we needed to get through. I really appreciate it. I don't have a lot to say. Just thank you for everything tonight. Please reach out to me if you need anything, and let's make this a great school year.
Are there any further closing comments before I move into my brief comments? Seeing none, I just also want to echo what President Holliday said. Thank you for bearing with us this meeting. There was a lot of important things we did, even if we're still working out, the kinks in the process of it. And so please, again, be on the lookout for some of the great outreach opportunities in the next coming weeks. That's something we really want to prioritize so we can see more faces in this room. And if you know anyone who's interested in being an at-large on a committee, being a senator, being a justice, election commissioner, or election commission, excuse me, whatever, please let us know. And so I very much thank you all for coming, and I'll see you next week, but I'll move to Vice Speaker Campster.
Yeah, I calculated the total number. We have 13 open seats in Senate, I believe is the number on the MIS. So let's try to get that filled. I believe every college is open except for grad students. So good work, you two. Oh, Cal's isn't open. My bad, guys. So, but yeah, so let's get that open or those open spots filled. I think we're going to have a lot more enjoyable time with more people to discuss with, but also to enjoy our free time with in office hours and outside of actual legislation. So, with that, I will move to Speaker Agba.
Thank you for bearing with us tonight. I know I had some rocky, moments, but thank you for bearing with me, and I look forward to what we can do this year.
Thank you for electing me. I totally forgot to thank you all. So I look forward to the rest of this year as well.
And with that, roll Cyclones.
We are adjourned.